Welcome to Faithing Out Loud. I'm Pastor Tony Ruth Smith, and this is my husband, Pastor Wesley Smith.
Hello.
And we are delighted that you're here to be with us as we think about what it means to live our lives out loud in the world in a way that honors Christ. Let's join the conversation. Welcome back. It's good to be with you today. Wes and I have been have an ongoing conversation that we thought we'd just kind of bring you in on. We've been doing a lot of reflecting because our youngest child is getting ready to graduate from high school, and we're fixing to be empty nesters. So we're going through some time. It's an experience. Yeah. I would just like to comment on myself that while I am emotional, I'm remarkably okay. I think it's sort of surprising. Are you shocked?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because we're still several weeks away.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me.
I know.
I know you're going to be fine.
No, I am not shocked that you, Tony Ruth, are fine.
Okay.
But it's also like, it's not unexpected. Like,
right.
We've seen this coming since Daniel was in kindergarten.
True.
So we have had time to prepare ourselves.
Right.
And I think what's helpful is we're talking about it.
Exactly.
And we, at least what helps me is I see Daniel's excitement,
right,
for what's ahead.
You know, I think what's interesting is, we're moving into a new phase of parenting, and we have a lot to learn from people that have done it before. But I'm also very aware that 20 years into parenting now, we have some wisdom to hand to other people.
Yeah.
About some things that we did. You know, Marianne and Daniel, I'm sorry, children, and this is the only time we're going to name you in this podcast, so I'm real sorry.
I make no promises.
They are really great kids. They are not perfect, and you and I have not been perfect parents.
No.
By any stretch. There are lots of moments I would go back and change if I could, and yet I'm also very proud of who our kids are, and really able at this point in their lives to see the fruit of God at work in them and how they are growing in their faith, and it's becoming theirs, not ours, theirs. And the way they're choosing to live into it is really the way they're choosing to faith out loud, if you want to call it that, has been really exciting for me. So this leads me to a question that I want us to talk about over the next couple of weeks. And it's simply this. I wonder what choices we made when they were young that were really important, that might help other people that are at earlier stages of their parenting journey. And maybe we could talk about that a little bit.
Right. And when you were saying that, what you were just saying, I was thinking our kids are not kind of thriving or successful or whatever word you want to use there. This didn't happen automatically or because, we're superior in some way.
Absolutely not.
This, a lot of hard work goes into parenting.
Indeed.
And a lot of intentional work. Mm-hmm. And like you said, a lot of, there were mistakes. There continue to be. Like sometimes at the end of a day, I'll think, I wish I had handled that better.
Right. Me too.
And so this is not us kind of praising our kids in order to build ourselves up or this is more about thinking about what are the things that we did right and
that might help somebody else. If they figured, do it in your own way. And I think that's what the first thing I really want to say is whatever we're going to say in the next little bit, you need to filter it through who you and your co-parent are, and through the reality of who your children are and through the reality of the life that you're living. Wes and I, that's what we had to do. You take what other people say and you say, how can I apply that in a way that's meaningful for us? It's not carbon copy. We're just trying to give you some roadmap that might help. So I'll ask you, Wes, what is one thing or a sort of a collection of things that we did that you think was really important for our kids?
I think one thing that we did, and we were very intentional about this, is we had this routine every night.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite.
At bedtime. And again, this is just kind of a peek behind the curtain of the Smith family here. You were and still are so much better about this than I am. And when I say better about it, I did it, but there were some nights when it was begrudging.
Because you're not very nice.
No,
late at night.
If I and not even late at night, if I'm sleepy.
Oh yeah, you're like, what is going to be most expeditious?
I'm mean, and
you're not mean. You're just direct and short and really ready to get it over with.
Irritable, maybe.
Okay.
Grumpy.
Put out,
as it were. Yes. There were moments of exasperation.
Right.
And
that was my favorite time of night. I like to rile them.
And you like to ask open-ended questions that would encourage conversation.
It was the most fun of the night.
And that would make me so...
Yeah, but we had such a good time.
Irritable. But anyway, what we decided to do is probably when they were in elementary school, I guess.
Like it was, say, 3 and 5 until they were maybe 9 and 11.
Yeah,
maybe.
We would read a story every night out of the Jesus Storybook Bible. Now, you don't have to use that particular Bible, although it's great, but we would read a Bible story. It's kind of written on the level of elementary age kids.
That one's a good one because it's got great pictures.
Yep.
And we would read it from the front to the back, and then we'd start over.
And then we would, when they were real, like young elementary, preschool, young elementary age, bedtime was more of an involved process of like, we would read a Bible story all together, all 4 of us, and we would pray all together.
Remember, we did this in the hallway between their 2 rooms because it was World War III.
Yeah, they would fight
about whose room we were going to be in. And so you and I just decided we would sit on the floor between their bedrooms so that there would be no argument about it. And that's where we did this, was on the floor. And sometimes somebody was laying down. It looked like they weren't paying any attention at all. And sometimes the cat was there and one of them would be chasing. Like there was nothing. Every night did not, like, I don't want to give anybody the impression that looked like us sitting in a circle, kumbaya, and having a quiet moment with the Bible. Like, it was.
There was a lot of put that down, leave the cat alone, don't touch your sister.
Pay attention. Let's listen to this. Can you stop? Stop talking. What are you doing? Come back over here. And yet, here's the thing. Here's the decision. We persevered and did it anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about.
Every single night.
It's hard work.
Right.
And the parents in my life, the parents I've seen that have struggled or had a really hard time were those parents who wanted their life pre-children, life before children, to be the same life they're living once they had children.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen.
If you're going to parent your children as a faithful Christian, and if you're going to kind of raise kids who kind of embrace faith or just kind of good people, I think it's really important that you commit to the work of being a parent consistently.
Right.
Doesn't mean perfectly.
No.
But because there were nights when it's not like we were there every single night, every single day of the year. Some nights I did bedtime by myself. You did bedtime yourself. Some nights it just didn't happen because of what was happening in our lives.
Right.
So perfection is not the standard here.
That's right.
But consistency. Children thrive on consistency and predictability. And as adults, we have to commit to that for the sake of our kids.
Right. And that means you got to persevere through the fact that it's hard at the beginning, right? To sort of establish a routine. But after a while, like that became one of the favorite routines of our family, right?
Right.
So we would read this Bible story, and sometimes we'd talk about things that I'm not even going to say that we always talked about it. That we're like, what do you think, children?
No, we
didn't.
didn't.
That is, like, literally we read the story. Like there is nothing fancy going on here. It's not like we're being preachers and being theologically whatever with our kids. We would just read the story, and then we would ask each other what was the best, and we don't know that we said worst. I think we might have said hardest part of the day. And sometimes if someone didn't have something to say about both those things, that's okay. But we would do that. And it sort of lent itself to sort of teaching that we share with one another, that we talk to each other, We talk about our days. And part of the reason I like the evening thing is because there is something, and I don't know how to describe it, except to say there is something sort of magical that happens right before bedtime with children. There is an openness, and even now, and I know this makes you completely bonkers, but if our daughter is going to talk to us about something, it is going to happen at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And maybe we set ourselves up. Maybe we should have done bedtime at 7 so that like that would happen. But if she's going to have a conversation with us, it's going to be at the end of the day, at the end of the evening. And I think that's rooted in this.
I agree. But I think there's something that happens that when at the end of the day, when we get to bedtime, when they were kids and we got to bedtime, there was no like outside stimulation. TVs weren't on.
There were no phones.
No
there were
screens.
never phones at any of this.
No screens.
Right.
And they were usually physically tired enough to where they settled.
Right.
And when they did that, now, and I also want to be clear, I was occasionally grumpy. I wasn't like mean.
No,
and
you always engaged this.
I wasn't unwilling to do this. It's just my tolerance might have been a little lower for shenanigans.
I love a good shenanigan at night.
But I think the kids, when you get them still and quiet, and again, there was a willingness, often a willingness to share, and I think that was a really important practice. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a decision we made. I don't think we ever specifically said this is what bedtime is going to look like, but that was a practice that we committed to. That kind of helped shape our children. One, like you said, in terms of reading the Bible and praying. These are important parts of our lives, but also, too, talking to your family.
Right. And I think there's an element there, too, of like teaching them to talk about their feelings in the context of them talking about God.
Yes.
Invites them to learn to talk to God about their feelings. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
And so I also think, because we would always end that with like prayer, and literally prayer was, now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul. Like it was the basic standard prayer, but we would also add, we would do some personal prayers in there.
For family.
And we would pray for our family, but we would always pray, and we pray, God, that you would bless everybody who is sick, sad, alone, lost, or afraid tonight, especially if they are children. And I think that prayer over time shaped our kids. Mm-hmm. Like it made them be mindful of people that are sick, sad, alone, lost, or afraid. And while they weren't feeling all those things, it made them aware that there are people that do feel those things. Yeah. And so I want to say that. So that was what we did at night. And then we would go in their respective rooms and, sing to them or whatever.
Maybe reading.
Not always more reading, but still. Anyway, and we did that.
Yeah.
And you hated that. Okay. The only other time we prayed with our children. Okay, now hear me. Everybody's thinking, well, the preachers must like sit down at the dinner table every night and have like family prayer. No, we did not do that. Like we had dinner together more often than not. We would eat dinners together and we would ask each other questions. We had a practice where we would, and the kids still totally do this now. We would ask each other questions. So like, somebody would pose a question and everybody had to answer it. And it didn't matter what the question was. So sometimes it was, what was the best part of your day? And sometimes it was, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Yeah, these are not theological or biblical questions. Right. These are like, if you could only eat one ice cream flavor for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Right.
Still, today, those are questions that we ask when we share a meal together.
Right. And so it just sort of created a conversation. And if you're at our house, you had to do it with us. Anybody at our house had to join the party. Anyway, the only other time we specifically intentionally prayed with them was on the way to church on Sunday mornings. And we would do Acts prayer. Adoration, confession, thanksgiving, supplication, but we would do it as questions. And the questions were, I love you, God, because, God, I'm sorry for, God, thank you for, and dear God, please help.
So not questions, but more like sentences.
So that we were trying to teach them what it meant to pray. So I'm going to say those again. God, I love you because, dear God, I'm sorry for, dear God, I'm thankful for, and dear God, please help. And I am not joking when I tell you that for a solid 2 years, Daniel's answer to every one of those things was the elephants.
Every single Sunday.
Okay. So we did not make him have to say something more serious than that. and for him, legitimately, he did love him some
He
elephants.
did love elephants. Good.
And he was
gracious.
really sorry for the bad things that we do to the elephants, and he was really thankful for them, and he absolutely prayed for their
wanted God
kids.
to help the elephants.
He wanted God to help them. So the kids would do it, and we would do it. And I think that taught them something about the nature of prayer, and they will still do it today.
And again, this is not something that like you have to be ordained or have gone to seminary or be a pastor to do these things. These are things that are, and this will come up, I think, maybe in a future episode of the podcast, but these are things we would have done
anyway,
regardless of our vocation.
right? There was nothing in any of those things that we just said, Wes. My seminary degree did not prepare me for any of that.
No.
That was just us being people of faith, trying to teach our children what it meant to be a person of faith. Because the truth is, the most important thing we could do for our children was to show them our own faith.
Right. Right. Let's keep talking about that.
Let's do.
Thank you for joining us on Faithing Out Loud. If you are in the Mooresville area, we'd love for you to join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9:15 or 11 o'clock. And if you're not in the area, you can check us out online and go to our website, willchatumc.org. Catch the live stream there, but also see everything we've got going on here at Williamson's Chapel. We'd love to connect with you. And don't forget to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you feel so inclined, leave us a review. Look forward to connecting with you, and we're glad you're listening.